This video is presented by Sealant. In this video we'll be showing you how to do bedding of deck hardware for a boat. This is a stanchion base. We'll be using a butyl tape, which is a rubber compound. There are obviously many other choices out there on the market and varying opinions. Here are some of the choices that you can choose from. Based on some of the comments from our customers, it seems that butyl tape is an excellent recommendation for bedding of hardware on boats. Let's get started and show you how we use the butyl tape for the bedding of a stanchion base.
Just put that in to hold its position.
We'll be using a 1/4-inch drill bit to drill the holes through the deck for the insertion of the 1/4-inch bolt. To hold the hardware in place appropriately, after the hole is drilled, we'll insert a bolt into the hole. Then we'll drill our next hole. We'll fast forward through this section as we drill the remaining holes. Remember, after each hole is drilled, insert a bolt to keep the positioning of the hardware appropriate on the deck.
This is a chamfering bit. It'll just angle a groove on the top of each hole, so we can make sure that we get sealant.
By countersinking around the bolt holes, you increase the maximum thickness of the sealant. The butyl tape or the marine sealant has a cavity to fill. You can also install the fitting and tighten it down now with no waiting, and you can seal deck hardware alone. And also, by feathering the edge of the gel coat through the use of the countersink bit, you are now a lot less likely to start a crack or a crazing mark in the gel coat.
You can see the epoxy that we used to fill the holes that were appropriate for the old stanchion bases. We've drilled new holes and filled the old ones with epoxy. And since most of that is going to be underneath the stanchion, it's not even necessary to clean it up too much, although I will sand this down, the part that shows after we get our stanchion installed. I'm going to put the screws, all 4 screws in, and then I'm going to wrap butyl around the base of the screws, so water that collects in here will run right out. It won't be sealed on the bottom.
We'll strip some of the butyl tape and make a round string as Jim shows here.
Just going to take a string of butyl and roll it up.
When ordering the butyl tape from Sealant, this one shows a light gray. However, the colors may vary. Typically, the off-white is our standard color.
Wrap it around each screw.
As you can see, it's easy to pull and break the butyl tape. This is the trimmable type of butyl tape. The butyl tape will never harden. It always remains the same consistency, even over 30 years, so it always remains very flexible. It also provides excellent sealing adhesion to any type of metal, wood, concrete, glass, plastic, fiberglass, and porous surfaces. Not only that, but it also increases in adhesion with age after it is applied. As you can see here in the video, it can be pressed and formed to obtain a water and airtight seal. Jim's pressing and molding the butyl tape at the top of the bolt here on the stanchion base bottom, so that when he places the stanchion on the deck, it'll form nicely into that cavity we made. Another awesome feature of this butyl tape is that once the hardware is pressed onto the surface and the butyl tape kind of is compressed outside of the hardware, you can easily clean it up with a blunted object that doesn't scratch the deck surface. We'll show that a little bit later on in the video.
Okay, do I have enough everywhere? I put a little more here.
That's obviously not the case when using silicone as a sealant for bedding applications. The silicone, if it compresses outside of the hardware and gets on the deck, it's kind of difficult to get up. It's really a good idea to use masking tape if you're going to use silicone, because if it compresses outside onto the deck, typically it has to be sanded off.
This butyl stays soft forever. It sticks to itself beautifully. That's cheap.
Most other sealants that are used for bedding, once you open the container, you don't have long before the entire container hardens up and becomes useless. Not the case with butyl.
Okay. Now we're going to put that down on the deck. That's all there is to it. Now we'll screw it home, or bolt it home.
On the underside of the deck, we'll use large stainless steel washers and a nut. You could use a backing plate instead of the washers if you choose, which is obviously a little bit stronger. On the top side, it's a good idea to try not to turn the screw, so we're just using a Phillips screwdriver here to hold the screw in place, while Jim on the underside tightens the nut to the bolt. When using silicone for a bedding application, you have to be careful not to get it on the deck. Not so with the butyl tape. We'll show you that next.
Just a tool I picked up at Lowe's called Smart Caulk. It's supposed to make caulking easy. It certainly isn't absolutely essential for this. All you need is a blunt, but really not sharp, but fine point to get that stuff away from the edge cleanly. That's beautiful. Everything I take off is reusable. Just put it back in the stack.
Jim removed the handrails here and he refinished those, and he secured those in place with bolts, and he used the butyl tape there. Here he's just removing some of the butyl tape that was squeezed out when he reinstalled the handrails. Butyl tape, great for many bedding applications such as stanchions, cleats, frame hardware, fasteners like snaps and such, handrails, mounting winches, sail blocks, port windows, and need I mention RVers? Great for almost anything that needs a watertight and airtight seal. I'm Eric Grant with Say Alright. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.